As part of these discussions, I like to take things that are everyday within our existence that sort of we take for granted. We want to take these things that we take for granted and utilize them and understand them innately, inherently, in order to better ourselves, manipulate our universe, become better people, and accomplish our goals. So let's talk about time. Now, I'm going to give you a little bit basis on the scientific facts, but that's not really what we're here to do. You want to go on your own and investigate it on your own if you see fit. The idea of these discussions is in order to take something that is in our face every day that we take for granted and figure out how we can understand it inherently, innately, and how we can utilize it to manipulate in order for us to be better as human beings. Now, you can go into the scientific definition of time, but that's not necessary. What I'd rather do is tell you a little bit about the nature of its relativity, and then go into more of a sense of how you can utilize it throughout your day. Now, time as we feel it is linear. You're born. At some point, you become conscious and self-aware of yourself. You live. You die. That's a beginning. It's an end. Just like everything in our physical reality that we experience, there's a positive and negative, a hot and cold. There's a start, there's a finish. But the nature of time is actually relative. And what we mean by that is that not everyone experiences time the same. From a very simple aspect, when you go to sleep, without knowing exactly how much time has passed, you wake up. If you receive anesthesia, it seems like in a blink, you're back. And you may have been under for hours. People who are in comas for years may wake up and say, what time period is this? What year is this? It's relative. But beyond that, from a minor scientific aspect, here on Earth, we are bound to this Earth by gravity. The Earth turns every 24 hours to make a day, 365 days approximately around the sun for a year. We have satellites above in early orbit of space that travel much faster around the Earth. Well, their time speeds up. And how do we know this? Well, we have GPS. And GPS coordinates with these satellites to let us know exactly where we are, when to stop, where to turn, how long it's going to take us to get to the destination. And just the nature of GPS and our satellites show us that time is relative because it needs to be coordinated every day. Because if it was not, due to the fact that the satellites are wrapping around the Earth at a very high rate of speed, their time is faster than ours. Here's another example. Picture that you have entered a rocket ship, but that rocket ship can go the speed of light. You go into that rocket ship and you shoot up into space and head off into the stars at the speed of light for 1 year, one of our years. And then you turn around and you head back at the speed of light, and it takes you another year to get back. You in that rocket ship would have aged 2 years of what we understand years to be. But when you get back on Earth, the people that you know and love may be 20 years older. If you didn't get that, contemplate it. You were in a rocket ship at the speed of light for the time period of what we consider to be 2 years. And when you return to Earth and land and come out of that rocket ship and see your loved one, if you're 30 years old, well, now you look 32 years old, where that friend or loved one who is also 30 years old now is and looks 50 years old and has experienced 20 years of life when you have experienced 2. If you can't understand that concept, investigate it further, but that's basically the way it works. The faster to the speed of light that you are going, the faster time moves. It's relative. And what that shows us is that time, as well as space, but we're talking about time, is a structure within our universe that is relative to the observer. It's relative to you, the observer. And it is simply a calculation that we use as conscious beings in order to dictate when something has occurred or where something has occurred in space. And we add that dimension of time and space of meet me in front of this building at this time. We have created other dimensions by creating, say, high-rises or large or tall buildings, where we can then say, meet me at this time, at this place, on this floor. So those are the dimensional aspects of time and space. Now, time being relative basically means that all time exists at once. That is not linear in fashion. We as people or the conscious observers feel time, but again, that is relative to the situation, where we are, what type of mass we're bound to, like the Earth, gravity, and how fast we are moving. So if the nature of time is for us to be able to calculate, then that means the construction of that calculation was put there because time truly doesn't exist. I've said it before, and I'll say it again if you've listened to other discussions. And you can go and validate this and investigate it further. The moment that you are listening to my voice coincides and is parallel to and exists at the same moment that you walked into kindergarten. The same moment that you were born. It's just that your consciousness is tuned to the frequency of this present time. And then this present time. And then this present time. In order for us to feel it in a linear motion. It's a construct. It's a construct for us to live in a linear path, to experience, to create the sense of free will. There's a causal effect. So scientists say what you do now will not only predict or change the path of the future, but in essence has already changed the path of the past. Now there are paradoxes and such where they call it the grandfather paradox, the idea that if you could time travel back and kill your grandfather, then you would not exist in order for you to actually go back in time, and that is called a paradox. Well, scientists, physicists, they look at this grandfather paradox, and through quantum physics, through calculations and such, I'm not going to bore you with the details, they have found this causal effect, which basically states that the grandfather paradox cannot happen. That, yes, you may be able to time travel back, but something will occur that will prevent you from actually killing your grandfather. Now, this may seem weird. This may seem out of the realm of your understanding. This may seem to be something that you might just brush off as, that's not real, that's not how I feel. But you need to open your mind. You need to understand that reality is what you perceive. Investigate what I'm speaking about. Investigate the nature of time. And you will see rather quickly that what I am talking about is what has been investigated for some time and what is known to many. Look up the grandfather paradox. And you say, okay, well, if people could time travel, then where are they now? But always remember that grandfather paradox. We are within spectrums of frequency. You can see spectrums of light. You can hear spectrums of sound. But think about the spectrum of sound when it comes to dogs. When you blow that dog whistle, is there a reaction from the dog? Of course there is. Can you hear that whistle? No, you cannot. So the nature of frequency within sound states and dictates that there are sounds or pitches or frequencies that you are unable to hear. We have 5 senses as human beings. Those 5 senses allow us to understand our reality, our universe, to manipulate it for our benefit. But nature has dictated that there are certain sounds and certain frequencies that are unnecessary for us to feel with our 5 senses in order for us to live. But there are frequencies and sounds that dogs can better utilize for their ability to survive. Hence why they can hear higher frequencies than us. Why they can depict or understand that your car is driving down and that you'll be home within minutes, and they can hear the specific rumble of your particular engine in your car from over a mile away. And why you can blow that whistle and not hear a single thing, yet their ears will pop up and they'll look around and go, why is that high frequency sound piercing my ears? Time is the same. Everything is a frequency, including time. We are registered as an antenna to the frequency of time of now. And we progress through those frequencies in a linear fashion. But that does not mean that the frequency of the past or the future doesn't exist. It does. It's just that you are not capable of tuning to them. So if humanity finds a way to be able to navigate time and space, understand that our reality, our physics, now doesn't allow for it, but maybe in the future it will. But there will be a causal effect or a paradox that can happen. Therefore, we cannot go back and kill our grandfather. But we would be able to go back and do things that do not have a causal effect. So if there are time travelers, they must stay incognito, because the simple nature of the paradox relationship with time dictates that that is the only way. Now, all of this sounds pretty crazy, I'm sure, especially if it's the first time that you listen to something like this, and it's the first time that it's being brought to your attention that time is constructed in this manner. So how can we utilize this understanding after you investigate that that may be the case? Well, philosophers and physicists have looked at it, and it has always brought up the notion of, okay, well, if time exists all in one, then why do I have the sense of free will? Or am I just watching a drama unfold that I have no ability to ultimately dictate? What I mean is, there are people that say, okay, fine, time is consistent, it is all-encompassing, therefore, I guess I could just go through my day, and how it comes and how it goes, it's not up to me. Maybe I should smoke that cigarette and drink that alcohol because I'm already predetermined to die when I'm predetermined to die, and that's the sense of it. While others say, nope, that's nonsense. We have free will. Time is manipulated and by us, and we can point our frequencies in order to change it. We can further go into the aspects of physics of time by saying that time is all-encompassing, but besides that, we have also noticed as scientists that all paths also exist. And what I mean by that is, you might be at a four-way stop sign, and you can go straight, you can go left, you can go right, you can make a U-turn and go backwards. And if you make that right, you are now on the frequency path of time, of the existence of you going right, and all of the causal effects that occur in the future from making that right turn. But if you would have made a left, you would have had all of the different causal effects that would happen because you went left, and the same if you went straight, or the same if you went backwards. Essentially, what science and physics shows us is that those choices all exist. So you exist in multiple forms, almost infinite fashions and dimensions. Personally, you, just the fact that the one that you experience is the frequency of you going right. But you also exist, but you don't feel it. But you exist going left, you exist going straight, you exist making a U-turn. So with time and with those causal effects and with multiple dimensions of our reality and existence, that means that you are tuned to this present frequency, and that frequency could be tuned to go right, left, straight, or backwards. They all exist within time. You just specifically went right, and that was your free will. So from there, the frequency will be pointed towards your path right, and whatever that path that you have made is the path that you will now go on under your linear time scale. Please understand that. Look it up. It goes back to the discussion about frequency and how each day you could point your frequency towards your goal, your free will. That's how this all comes together. That is how this helps you. By understanding the nature of time, you can understand the nature of frequencies that we've discussed about, and you can understand whether you want to go right, left, straight, or make a U-turn. And all of that is inherent and innately to you. There have been times, whether you drive, whether you're just walking, that you will sit and stop for a moment and inherently or innately or just in a blink of time go, wait, hold on, stop. I forgot something. Oh, wait, I shouldn't go back for it. It's not that important. Yes, I should go back for it. It's my phone. What if that person calls me? I'm going to miss this. Then it's going to create a time continuum of something that you think might not be to your benefit. So you turn around. But what if by turning around that car, you are then in an accident? That is the motion of time that is going through. What if I would have done this? What if I would have done that? So without understanding the first part of this discussion, you have already innately and inherently understood the nature of time. What if I do this? What if I could have done that? If I would have made a right instead of made a left? If I would have sold that stock rather than keep it? If I just would have, could have. If I just would have, could have. Now remember, time is relative. It's linear in fashion to us, our conscious, observing being, and we point the frequency of time, and we move within the space, and both of those, and that's why we call it time, space, or space-time, because they work hand in hand. Do your investigation. It's very easy. You can go on YouTube. You can go on the internet. This is a time period called the information age, because information, for better or for worse, is right within your hands. It is by your side each day. Now, there is a lot of misinformation and disinformation. Be wary of the information that is agenda-driven. And what I mean by that is by giving opinions. I am not trying to provide you an agenda. I am not telling you to go buy something or understand something that puts you in one perspective or another. The idea of these discussions is to remove the agenda-based perception, right? We have spoken about Democrat and Republican and everything in between. I am not pushing you to be a Democrat. I am not pushing you to be a Republican. I am trying to let you understand why both exist and how to understand both, that they're necessary, and that you can look at it from an outside approach to really objectively understand it. The same thing with religion. I am not trying to tell you what time is to make you think that you can just go through life and it's already predetermined. Or that you should, basically go towards your path and push towards it and always go right and stay on that linear path. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that you can innately and inherently understand it. We have that sixth sense, that gut feeling. There are times when we need to turn around to go back and get something, and maybe it causes us to be 2 minutes late. That is determined by you. So since time is relative, take the time to slow down your thought and your consciousness in order to better understand what will occur on a linear fashion if you point your frequency towards a different direction, a different space, a different time. We have discussed waking up and pointing your frequency, changing your radio station or staying within the same radio station each day to incrementally progress on your goals. Well, if you understand that all parts of time exist and it's just the nature of you moving right, left, straight, U-turn, and utilizing that time for your free will in order to get to your goals. And if your goals for the day are to relax and enjoy life and not worry about the specifics of where you have to be, where you have to progress to, then that is just as good too. Because no matter what, you will experience the time frequency, the time dimension in a linear fashion. So take it and enjoy it. And rather than move through this linear path without any thought, take your time to take a breath. The next time that you're at dinner at your favorite restaurant, when that food comes, rather than pick up your fork and your knife and go right at it, stop, breathe, understand where you are in the frequency of now, in the time of now. Come within yourself. Truly realize where you are and what you're about to experience. And what you will find is that when you do that, you will enjoy that moment, that time at that favorite restaurant, that favorite dish, that meal. You will enjoy it all that much better. Because you will slow down the relativity of time, you will be in the present, and you will enjoy it more. And you may not say, wow, that was fast. Hey, we ate quickly. Again, there's a yin and a yang to everything. That doesn't mean you sit down at the table for 3 hours. People will get mad at you, the whole thing. People have to come, they have to go. Everybody else around you is experiencing time in a linear fashion, but they're also experiencing it without a conscious effort. And they're in, they're out. Everybody's hustling and bustling. Hustling and bustling, hustling and bustling, which causes anxiety. That is the nature of our reality today. It's the nature of our time period. Everybody's hustling and bustling, especially where I live. Go to any major city, it's hustle and bustle, hustle and bustle. Got to get here, got to get there. Time to go. Money to be made. I get it. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. In the nature of our reality, we need money. Time is money. I get it. But the times that you are for yourself, the times that you are enjoying a meal, the times that you are enjoying your family, holidays, take the time, sit back, relax, take a breath, come within your present moment, understand it, feel it, enjoy it. Do so, and you will have a much more rewarding experience of what we call life. Something that a lot of us, including myself, have forgotten to do for many years. And now I look at my age and say, wow, that was quick. And that will continue to occur if we don't take the time to realize our present, understand it, enjoy it, appreciate it. Until next time, I wish everybody health, prosperity, peace. Go through your day, understand it, live life, enjoy it. Until next time, speak soon.